Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we have a new ADEPT Cosmetics collection to review. We have 2 palettes and 5 different glosses. I'm super excited because, as some of you may know, ADEPT Cosmetics is one of my absolute most favorite indie brands. They make the best duochrome, multi-chrome shimmers. They are super sparkly, make your eyes be seen from space. I absolutely love their formulas, in particular their glittery, shimmery, multi-chromatic eyeshadow formulas. And this palette's color story, just chef's kiss, okay? So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Here are both palettes, the eyeshadow palette and the cheek palette. The eyeshadow palette is called Unity. Let me show you the packaging of them. Take a look right here. It has this beautiful duochrome covered in lace. It says Unity right here. I'm not going to show you the inside just yet. And the cheek palette has the same packaging and it is called Duality. This whole collection is launching Friday, September 6th at 11 a.m. I'm hoping I can post this video by then. And you can of course save 10% off of your purchase with my discount code PATTY10, always on the ADEPT Cosmetics website. So if you want to get any of these products and you want a little bit of a discount, don't forget to use my code PATTY10. Now let me actually show you the eyeshadow palette, which I'm so thrilled about. Again, outside packaging, beautiful, but then once you open it, here is the absolutely stunning color story. This is a 15 pan palette from ADEPT Cosmetics. As you can see, we get 10 beautiful shimmer shades and 5 mattes. As soon as I opened it yesterday, the first color my eyes immediately traveled to, the first color that caught my eye like crazy, was the shade Tranquility right here. I feel like on camera it looks like just a cool tone champagne type of color, but when I tell you it's got blue and pink and purple sparkles in it, it is such a beautiful shade. I also really love the shade The Peaceful Path. And for the mattes, the first 3 mattes, I love the shade Moss right here, this beautiful green shade, beautiful balanced brown. I can't wait to try that matte as well. The one I'm least excited about is Live a Little, because I don't love the fuchsia pink mattes in my eyes, but every other shade in this palette is absolutely beautiful. This palette's price is $52, by the way. And then here's the Duality blush palette, which has 6 different shades, 3 shimmer, 3 matte colors, and I feel like you can use these as blushes, and also the 3 top ones could be good highlighters for deeper complexions. I'm boring, so this right here is the color I like most, but I am very excited about the shade Duality from this palette because it looks beautiful. The blush palette retails for $34 and you can get the bundle of them for $72. Besides the palettes, they also sent over 5 different glosses, which I'm about to show you as well. These are called the Simplicity lip glosses, and as you can see, they seem to be very sparkly. I'm very curious. I'm just gonna go for it. This is the shade Bare Minimum, and as you can see, they are pretty sparkly. Here's what this one looks like. No lip liner or anything. Not bad. If you press your lips together, I don't feel the sparkly stuff on my lips, but if I rub my lips together like that, I do feel the sparkly bits on my lips. So of course I want to start by showing you guys the swatches of the eyeshadow shades, and I'm going to start of course with this shade here. First color is called Unison Utopia. Then we have the shade Tranquility, super stunning, Rose Orchid, and Serene Spirit next, which is a beautiful peachy sparkly shade. Here are the next 4. We have the shade Balanced Beauty right here. Whoa, that is a beautiful it's kind of like a gold but not really. I'm very impressed by that color. Second row, the first color is called Egalitarian Emerald right here. Then we have the shade Petals, which is this beautiful pink metallic color, and the middle shade in the palette is called the Peaceful Path, which is like a green multi-chrome shade. And we still have pigment left on our fingers after we swatch them, by the way. Like, these are so creamy, so pigmented, so beautiful, so metallic, so sparkly, so multi-dimensional. I love ADEPT Cosmetics shimmers. I could go on. Here are the next shades. Last two shimmers, first two mattes. So we have the shade Serenade next right here, which has a warm base and just beautiful metallic shine over it. Balanced Bond is a beautiful champagne metallic shade. Tranquil Tone is the first matte, which is going to be the perfect transition color. I'm gonna just get a little bit more right there. And then Moss is that matte green shade that I was telling you about that I liked. Also going to build it up just a tad bit right here. Their matte shades are not as creamy as their shimmer shades. They're a little bit more dry, but not bad dry. Like, they're still beautiful and buildable and blendable. They just aren't as creamy as the metallic shades are. Here are the last three mattes, which are the shades Mauve's Mist, Live a Little, which is the fuchsia pink matte, and the last shade is called Balanced Brown. See, when I pass over it with my finger multiple times, how it spreads. So take a look right here. These are every single one of these palettes shades swatched. They look incredibly stunning. You see how, like, this one has a lot of dimension to it. You can't see the details of it, but I promise you there is so many different color sparkles in there. I'm going outside for a second to show you what these look like in the sunlight. Hopefully I can. Hopefully the sun is out. I'll be right back. Take a look right here at what these shades look like in the sunlight. I went outside. If the angle isn't perfect, it's because I was filming myself with the back camera of my phone and the swatches were positioned you know, where you saw them, so it was a little tricky. But here are the up close swatches of this palette in the sunlight, so you can see the dimensions of the shimmer shades a little bit better and how sparkly they really are. I'm back upstairs now, and I definitely want to swatch the Duality Cheek palette for you, so let's go ahead and go for it. Starting with the shimmer shades, the first one is called Orange Pearl. Then we have Sometimes Violet, and the shade Roses Are Red right here. Take a look right here, very shiny blushes. And then here are the three matte shades of this palette, which are the shades Honey Never Spoils, which is this mauve pink, Magenta, which is a very vibrant fuchsia, or I guess magenta, and then the shade Duality 1 mixed together, which Duality is a bit more yellow on one side and more orange on the other side. I just like swirled it together like this in order to swatch it. So check it out. These are the swatches of the cheek palette. I'm thinking you can use the matte 3 as a base and the top 3 kind of as blush toppers as well. I think that would be cute. Now that we've seen and swatched everything, it is time to try the products on. As you can see, I did basic makeup. I have my foundation on, some bronzer, my brows. I did even put a little mascara on because I was out and about earlier. So I needed something on my lashes, but I left my cheeks bare of blush so I can try this blush palette, and I don't have anything on my eyes. So we can do a couple of eye looks. First things first, I'm going to actually prime my eyes because I had added concealer to my eyelids earlier, which is what I typically do for primer, especially on days when I'm filming, because I don't know, I just don't care about eyelid primer that much if I'm just filming. My point is, I smudged my mascara everywhere, which means I had to wipe off my concealer, and so in order to brighten everything back up, I am adding the Rare Beauty eyelid primer to my eyes. So now that the eyes are primed, let's get started. And the first shade I'm going to use is Tranquil Tone with a Rephr number 15, because this is going to be my transition shade. So I'm just going to tap it around the crease of my eye with the Rephr number 15 brush. Just tap, tap, tap it. I'm adding a little more to the outer corner of my eyelid, and then just blend the product back and forth all throughout the eye. With the Rephr number 1, I'm going to use the shade Moss, and I'm going to tap it over the outer third of my eyelid with the side of my Rephr number 1. And then shifting that side upwards, I'm going to blend that color into the crease with the tip of the brush, adding a little more, blending it a little more as well. And with the same Rephr number 1, I'm going to use the tip of it to blend some of the shade Moss under my eye as well. Just swiping the color back and forth down here, just to create a nice matte base so that we can now play with some shimmers. First shade I want to grab is this one here, Egalitarian Emerald, which has a bit of a hint of green, but it mainly is like a bronzy shimmer shade. And I'm going to tap it from the center of the eyelid out into the shade Moss with the tip of my finger, just tapping it in place right there. Back with Moss on my Rephr number 1, I'm just stippling it over the edge of Egalitarian Emerald so that they kind of mix together. So then for the center, I'm going to grab the shade The Peaceful Path, which is that green gold color, and I'm going to tap it over the center of my eyelid and move it towards the front a little more Egalitarian Emerald back here because I don't want to lose it. I'm just tapping everything on with my fingers at this point. And with a Rephr brush number 2, I'm going to grab the shade. I'm in between Balanced Bond or Balanced Beauty. I think I'm going to do Balanced Beauty on a Rephr number 2. And I'm going to add it on the inner third of my eyelid, also the inner corner here, just tapping it in place right there. And then I want to work it in through the crease all the way to the middle here to define the eyelid a bit. With a Rephr number 13 and Tranquil Tone, which is our transition shade, I'm going to diffuse the color Moss under my eyes and extend it all the way to the tear duct area. For a bit more definition, I'm going to get a forest green eyeliner. This one is from Glossier in the shade Fresco. And I'm also going to kind of tight line the outer half of my eyelid with it. Again, just for a bit more definition. I don't want to make it an eyeliner. I just want a little more depth on the outer half of my eye. Just like this. So take a look right here at the first look with this ADEPT Cosmetics Unity palette. I definitely wanted to use the shade Moss and the more green shades in this palette for a look. So this is what I came up with. And I'm very excited for look number 2 because now I get to use all of the other colors I'm very excited about. Back with the Rephr number 10 and the shade Tranquil Tone once again because I really loved it as my transition. I think it did a really fantastic job as a transition color for look number 1, and we're going to combine it with a whole different set of shades for look number 2, but it's still a nice base to have throughout the crease of the eye up here. So using the Rephr number 10, I'm just blending it through the crease, and then I'm going to use the shade Mauvest Mist. Still using my Rephr number 15 brush. Did I say this was a Rephr number 10? Because I meant 15. Rephr number 15 and the shade Mauve Mist, and I'm tapping it on the outer third of the eyelid first, and then I'm going to back and forth mix that shade into the transition and bring it inwards. Switching to a Rephr number 1, I'm going to grab Balanced Brown, which is the darkest of the mattes, and I'm going to add it to the outer corner of the eye to deepen everything up and blend it into the previous shades. And again, this is once again just like a nice base of matte shade so that we can have fun playing with the shimmers in a second. So here's that shade. I'm going to go back to my Rephr number 10 and make sure it diffuses nicely all throughout the crease. I'm going to add Balanced Brown right underneath my lower lash line down here, back and forth. And with Tranquil Tone and a Rephr number 13, I'm going to smoke it and blend it all the way to the tear duct area. So here is my matte base, if you will. Let's see what colors I want to grab for this one. I love the shades Tranquility and Serene Spirit. I think I'm going to go for those. So I'm going to use Tranquility first in the center here, blend it into the matte shades. This is I think this might just be my favorite shade in this palette. It is so beautiful. I don't know if the next color is going to match because it's more peachy rather than pink, but I want to use it anyways. Ooh, be careful. I was not being careful. Be careful with the shimmer. So with the Rephr number 2 and Serene Spirit, I'm going to do the inner third of my eyelid. Oh, that actually is perfect. Not too peachy after all. I'm going to define my eyelid with it, blend it into the previous shimmer shade. Also with my Rephr number 1, I'm just going to tap this edge here. Nothing added, just whatever was left in it. And I want to make sure these two shades blend nicely into one another. And then I'm going to get the shade Balance Bond this time with the Rephr number 2 and make it the inner corner for look number 2. I'm going to add a little bit underneath as well. For my waterline, I'm going to use one of my all-time favorite eyeliners for the under eye, which is the Laura Mercier eyeliner in the shade Cocoa. So disregard the shimmer underneath my eyes. I should have been more careful. Maybe do your eyes first at home. But take a look. This right here is the second look with this palette. If I'm going to be 100% honest with you, I was very excited about the swatches, but now that I've put the colors to work, now that things are put in place and blended and whatnot, I'm not as into this palette as I was when I first received it. Maybe I just could have done different looks that maybe would look better. The shimmers I still love, but the mattes, they blended okay. The formula is nice, it's fine. I don't know, I'm not in love with the eyeshadow looks that I created, is the best way I can explain it. And I thought I would be very, very into them, and I'm not. But that might just be a me thing. The shadows performed beautifully. I just didn't come up with looks that I'm obsessed with for some reason. So I am going to finish by putting some lashes on so I can show you finished looks, and then we'll do some blush and whatnot so we can try the cheek palette as well. I added some Ardell Wispies so we can have some more drama, and I like it better now that the lashes are on for sure. And let's go ahead and do some blush. I'm going to try them both. I'm going to do Duality on this side since this side is a bit more warm. See, and Duality has that like yellow orange thing about it. Here's what it looks like on me. And I didn't blend it, so it has that gradient effect going upwards. I'm going to add Orange Pearl right here as kind of a topper right up here, so you can see what that looks like. And then with the other side of this brush, I'm going to use the shade Honey Never Spoils and use it as my blush on this side. Ooh, that is not a blush color for me. I look like I got punched in the face. I'm using sometimes Violet as a blush topper over here. And here's what things are looking like on this side. I'm honestly not as impressed as I thought I would be. So here is the warm side of this collection versus the cool tone side of the collection right here. Before I finish up with my lips, let me swatch every single one of the lip glosses. This shade is called Lustrous. Check it out right there. Then the one I tried earlier, which is called Bare Minimum. Be Etor, I think is the name of this one. I don't think I've ever had glosses as sparkly as these are. This one is called Duras Sisters. And this color here is Blood Wine. So take a look. These are the 5 very, very sparkly gloss colors. I think I'm going to do the first one I tried. I lined my lips with my Natasha Denona Lip Liner. And I'm going to try the shade Lustrous on my lips. I think it goes with the cool tone look better. Anyways, I know I look like a clown right now because these are very, very different vibes I have going on. Let me quickly give you my final thoughts on this collection though. The cheek palette is definitely not for me just because it's very pigmented. I don't love the shimmer blushes or blush toppers or highlighters on me personally. Makeup preference, honestly. I'm too old for all that shimmer on my face. I feel like I'm in my demure era, if you will, when it comes to cheek products. And then I felt like this color, which is the only one I thought I would like, made me look bruisey, and this is just too bright and way too warm for my complexion. So Unfortunately, this palette does not work for me. I'm sure someone with a warmer complexion than me or with a darker complexion can make this work, but this is just a no for me. I just don't think it's flattering. And as far as the eyeshadows are concerned, the shimmers from ADEPT are always a yes for me. I love them. I can't wait to combine those shimmer shades with different matte colors. I am not a fan of the color story of the mattes because, again, this looks a little too bruisey on me. And then the mossy one was okay, but nothing impressive. So for the shimmers, I would say this is worth it, but I see myself combining these shimmers with different mattes, except for this one. I do like this matte. The other ones were like, okay. Not as impressed as I thought I would be for sure. I like the shimmers from the Unity palette, but I'm not obsessed with the mattes. I will say, I've never had glosses as sparkly as these are, and I like them. They're not sticky. You barely feel, like, you have to really rub your lips together to feel a little bit of grit, but it doesn't really bother me. And I love, love, love how glittery they are. So I do like the glosses, and I like the shimmers in the eyeshadow palette. The mattes just didn't impress me. So do with that information what you will. If you are shopping this or anything else on the ADEPT Cosmetics website, don't forget to use the code PATTY10. There's other collections I've tried from them in the past that I definitely have liked better than what I tried today, but not everything is for everyone, right? So I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to please subscribe before you leave. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye.